and wanted to start with a shout out to my fellow O-linemen who I think deserve to be a part of this award. Sam Rui played next to me, Mike Thompson, the other guard, Adam Anthony, the other tackle, Brian Biggie at tight end, and Nick Jingo at center. We really functioned as one unit, and I think put a few people on this team into the Hall of Fame as well that have been inducted before, and I think that O-line really set the intention and mood and was the spirit of this team.
One of the toughest offensive linemen I've had, one of the most agile, one of the smartest. He was everything you could want in an offensive lineman. He couldn't care less who got the headline. He couldn't care less about anything except his team winning. And he not only wanted to win, he wanted to dominate. And that's what was so fun about him.
High energy. He was very excited. If you watch films, which my buddies and I still occasionally get together and put them on, he's the one that's always hopping around after a touchdown or even after a loss. Just as long as he had a pin, he's typically pretty excited. High energy. He always wanted to be in the play. Sometimes too much energy. Coach Reardon, every once in a while I had to ask him whether he was trying to kill a drive on his own. He liked to finish his blocks, and sometimes that got him in trouble.
Coach Reardon, who was a true master motivator, and his master motivator persona. We were playing Hoban. We were probably kicking their butt, up by a couple touchdowns like we used to do to them. And as we all know, the referees like to pick on the big guys, right? We stick out, and they like to root for the underdog and throw a flag a little easier than, say, the guy who would be next to me, tackling people. I would grab a little jersey and the flag would come out. So maybe one, maybe two penalties on this drive, and we come over to the sideline. Coach Reardon calls timeout. He turns to me in the sideline huddle and asks, "Dennis, are you single-handedly trying to stop this drive?" And I turn, think about it for a second. "No, coach, no, I'm not." And so, that was the lesson there. And so he really knew how to get the most out of us. And we all really appreciated his varying styles. But we all say that. I say that with love. I'm super grateful to him and all of the coaches there and all their different styles of what made us who we are.
Like I said, I think it was that work ethic, which served him well in football and I think also in wrestling. I think he just never quit. He never quit on the block. He never quit in a game. He was always one of the first ones down to congratulate somebody after a touchdown. He was always one of the first ones to help somebody up off the ground on a short gain. He just never quit. He played both ways on the line every game all year, senior year. Never complained. He was a real leader in that way by example.
What you've done over your career, not just athletically, but in your professional career as well, I think is a good example of what Walsh Jesuit stands for. You've always had hard work and determination as a part of your person, but I think Walsh has done a great job of amplifying that for you.
One of my fondest memories of Dennis was how much he grew as a person and player from his sophomore year to his senior year, to a point where he started to figure things out, so much so that you really didn't need to coach him that much. He was certainly an outstanding technician in all aspects of both offensive and defensive line play. He also brought a tremendous amount of energy and enthusiasm, not only to practices, but especially to games where we really needed that. Again, being a tremendous leader of that group during his senior year especially. Lastly, I just want to thank you, Dennis, for making me a better teacher, coach, and person by being associated with you.
One of the things that was interesting story was Dennis was driven to school for 2 years by Chris Gayone, Spanish teacher. Coach Reardon was a Spanish teacher. The offensive line their junior and senior year would come up to the line of scrimmage and call their blocking assignments in Spanish. So the other team did not get to know what they were saying.
I also want to thank my dad. We spent a lot of time watching film, and just he was a great example for me watching and learning, and I wouldn't have been the player without him. And so I'm grateful for him. I think our team knew we were special when it was the summer before, and we had no commitments to be there or anything, and everyone was there running and lifting and being better and really developing a cohesion that took us through some pretty tough times in that season, especially when Coach Reardon had been diagnosed with cancer. Wasn't it our first game where we got our butts kicked by Cincinnati Elder? To overcome that and use it to motivate us and be resilient, as many things in life are, to come back and win out from there and bring that coveted state championship to Walsh Jesuit in football is pretty amazing.
I would like to think that Walsh taught him to be a man for others, and he would get the offensive line together, or they would get together once a week for dinner during the season, and that was fun to see.
I couldn't wait for this day. If there's a more deserving kid, I'd be shocked. I mean, he is very, very deserving. He was a Walsh Warrior through and through.
Anyways, the long and the short of it, I'm very honored and excited to be there in person and celebrate together. Represent Walsh, Ohio, and the Jesuits faith out here in San Diego, all over, all the time. People know where I'm from, and I hope they never forget it. So thank you to Walsh. Thank you for this tremendous honor.